Monday, 2 days before, but it could be just about talk to the speaker and see. This is like our standard, but sometimes there's holiday in the middle, and then if you need some adjustment, we can get through and go to the meeting and talk to Laura and Nick to see if it's feasible to work on this date. Okay, I spoke about the checklist when the first one, the list name, after the agreement, and then we have a standard now, which is the template. And Nick, he was saying that it would be great to us to add something here. The previous one, we need to be done process. Yeah, this is template. The formal template, they're gonna use this one. Sometimes they didn't use, they use their own template and then send it to us. And sometimes that we need to do, I need to do some adjustment. It's not a big deal when I have a free time, but it's useful if they can use the standard PPT. What else we have here? Moving back to the folders, webinar approach here. As I mentioned before, there's just a couple of templates to use as email to a speaker, invitation. I don't know if I missed something, so I don't think so that I'm missing nothing here. So are you good here, Imrapali? Please let me know your thoughts.
No, I'm actually just absorbing things like what you said.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as you have access, I guess you're gonna have a chance to go through the template here and see. And it's not like a big deal, but just need to follow the process to get information from the speaker. This is the critical timeline. Other than that, it's a straightforward process. That's 2 or 3 steps to do before moving on, and keep it constantly contact with speakers. It's a good way to see if they need something to be done or not. But other than that, critical.
Okay. So before you proceed, can I just repeat what you said so that I'm like, okay, what I understood?
Perfect. Go ahead.
So basically, there is a the process which you told is like this. First, the speaker is selected or chosen or found. So this task is done by Nick.
Good. Yes.
So he may choose, he may get you a lot of speakers, and then you can decide, or the speakers can give you a probable month they want to speak or do the webinar.
Completely right. Yes.
Okay. So once we have the resources, which is the speakers, we we put it in the Excel sheet, and then we decide on the month. So suppose for taking the example for the month, taking the example for September. Now for September we have Wendy.
Yes.
Okay. So Wendy has given us a date of 2nd of September, but it has always have to be Wednesday of the week.
So normally the webinar it's on the first Wednesday of every month. When the month starts, it's on the first Wednesday. But it's not like 100%. Could be just sometimes there is a holiday. Could be like make some arrangement, but following the standard, it's on the first Wednesday. Yeah, and the practice sections it's on the Monday, 2 days before.
Yeah, so we have to be, so that's how we have set it up with PMI, meaning PMI has other events that could be running. An example would be the coming one, which was in September. We were debating if we would move it out by a week. And then we realized that we could not move it to 9th. We were thinking of moving it to 9th because the first week, there's a lot of holidays in many countries because of Labor Day. So that's why we were thinking, let's do it the second Wednesday of the month. But then PMI has a different event going on that day. And so they would not have been able to support it. So then we would have to move it to 16th. And that's why we said, oh, you know what, we'll just stick to second. So although it's not written in stone, if we change it, we just have to go back and check with PMI to make sure the platform is going to be available, and also they have to support it. So IT should be able to support it too. So that's why the normal thumb rule is let's do it first Wednesday of the month.
Okay. So till now, that's fine with me. So next, after we have schedule, means decided on the date and the speaker. So if suppose, as I took the example for September, so for 2nd of September, this preparation, like the agreement and the speaker communications and the presentation finalization. So all this thing has to happen. Like, what is the lead time for it? I just wanted to know, because to be on the safer side.
This is good one. Would be in a perfect world, would be like in a 5 days in advance, but sometimes the speakers, they are so busy. It's hard to get that one. But previously for the practice session on Monday, should be ready to go. What happened the previous months on August was we had a Barbara, she sent out the presentation Monday morning. I did a review, and then Laura, she was away, and then on Wednesday morning she did another review previous the presentation, you know. So needs to be like, it's not like mandatory, but by Monday morning before the practice section should be ready, with our review, and Laura as well. She does the final review, because sometimes I miss something, like sometimes they promoted something that cannot be promoted, and Laura catches that one in a better way.
Okay, so now I just wanted to have more clarity on communicating things with the speaker. So suppose when you communicated with Wendy, so you started with an agreement. So you sent her the agreement first. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. Yeah.
So after she signs, so is this a digitally signed document, or is it like a simple agreement?
It's a digital. Let me show it pop up here. It's a digital something like that. Agreement. Here, it's agreement. I just a date here when the event's gonna happen, and then there's all list here, and then it's not, this one's not signed. Let me just document here, and then she sign back to us.
Okay. So once we get the signed agreement from the speaker, then we start the real communication with them, like the biography, the sort of things we want, like as you showed in that document. Can you open the document, please?
This one?
No, the one which had that.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. Just show
Yeah,
you something here. Let me see here. After just responding, when we get the agreement, and then we send, I do have something that I prepared. We have like a tag, this one here. And then I send out an email saying, hey, thanks for being a speaker with us, and blah, 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 blah. And then I usually put attached some, put attached this one here. Let me move it back.
That template.
Yes, I put a template for the checklist. This checklist here, I send out, and also I mention, yeah. And I mentioned this one here. Attach is a sign, and then I do like a following checklist. Agreement was signed, and then I put a sign it, and then I put a biography needed by a week in advance. Sometimes I put a date just to create like something for the speaker to provide back, and then title, and then just to create a link between us. And sometimes not normally, I put it on my calendar, just some alerts to alert me to get a feedback, not to not miss any deadline. But basically, then I got a many feedback from email. Someone just filled in all the form. Sorry, they fill out the form, and then what I do normally, if they send out on email, and then I transfer the information to the checklist, and then I go back to Laura, because we need to get this as soon as possible in order to Laura book the webinar. Without title, abstract, and agreement, we cannot book a webinar.
Okay, so you are saying only these three are mandatory for Laura to have, so that she can book a webinar for us.
Yes.
Okay, and what the process with Laura is like, she handles herself. Like, we only pass on the information, like the registration and all for the webinars. It is handled by the PMI.
Sorry, I didn't get. So what do you mean?
I'm asking is now when the webinar is put on the website, that for the viewers to register and get the information, all is handled by Laura, means through the admin.
Yes, the PMI is gonna pop up the webinar on the project management website, and then you can go there and register. There is a limit, I guess, 2,000 people, 2,500. I don't know the limit. And then when it's done, it's gonna be say you cannot register for that webinar because it's full. Yeah, it's on PMI side. Yeah.
Okay, so now when we have the final presentation, and now we are following the rule that we'll put the final presentation in this shared folder for the speaker as well. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, for the training session that is 2 days prior to the webinar date, the full webinar is reproduced, or is it like it's just a mock-up?
Well, I've never been there, but what I can share is they're gonna test the username, they're gonna test the presentation, if the slides working correctly, audio. It's just related to technical testing, not like moving all this one. It's just like to test audio, they have a correctly username or not, to see. This is they're testing during the practice sections, and to discuss something that a speaker would like to talk about or not.
Okay.
It's a it will be a PMI person taking care. The speaker is going to receive an email from a technical perspective to access the WebEx link, and then to do all the technical tests.
Okay. The presentation which the speaker prepares and send it to us, is it goes through reviewing to Laura?
Yes, she needs to. Yes, it's normally I do a review, but sometimes she does the final review to catch something that I missed. Yeah.
Is it like sometimes, or is it like always? It's in the process?
It's a process. Yeah, it's in the process. Yes.
Okay, so it's like she should always give okay for the presentation to go online.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there any restrictions, like in the blog there is a restriction that we cannot do any ad or something of it's not in the rules. So is it for similar kind, is there for the webinar?
Yes, it is the same. It's described on the agreement. When you go to the agreement, there's what you can do or not.
Okay, okay. And like once, as Nick was mentioning, there was a one speaker who backed out, and then what happened? Did we get another speaker, or is it like we can miss that spot and go for and prepare for the next month?
So when that does happen, we need to run out trying to find another one speaker. Sometimes we have a list here on hold and send out an email, ask if someone can be a volunteer to move back and try to fill that spot that was it's available now. But sometime I guess we didn't have a day that we missed just for a
Yeah, so normally
misunderstanding.
we are able to backfill it. That's why we always have many speakers lined up.
Yeah,
So it's and that's the reason why you want to ideally get to that determination a month ahead of time, because a month suffices for us to replace a speaker because we're booked many months out anyways.
yeah,
It should not be a problem.
should not be back. I guess we didn't have a problem. Just was on July. I guess with Alexander, we had like a different perspective for change manager, not subject. Yes,
That was an exception.
yes, so just
That's not a rule.
exceptions. Other than that, I guess we never miss the spot. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So till now I've understood, and so after the webinar is complete, like last time when Barbara, there was some questions which were passed on from the admin to the speaker. But do we have any role in that after the webinar is over?
Nick?
Typically, the admin will send the questions, open questions to the speaker, and then if they are, in case of Barbara, she's going to the blog, so that's why she's hooked up with the blogging process. But otherwise, they can just send the answers back, and PMI staff can post it back or something like that.
Okay.
If it's a one-time thing, then PMI staff can help us out with that.
Okay. And anything else which is like the process I understood, the communication with the speakers I understood. Maybe when I go through the documents, I read all those things, then I'll have more a good picture of what exactly we have to communicate and get from speakers. But apart from that, any other role we play when we organize this, means when the webinar, before the webinar is online?
Well, I would say just keep a constantly communication to the speakers and to the whole team between us to keep everyone on the same page. And communication is the first one, sure. And other than that, I don't think so that it will be a concern with something. I do have something to do. I'm gonna CC you on my next communications, and we'll see how the process goes through. And just need to get into this one and see how it works.
Okay.
So, and one thing as well, I did when I send out this notes here, it's gonna be a link with the speaker folder created. I come here and then I get a shareable link, and then I put into the email and I say, hey, you have access to the Google Drive, go there, work over there, because if they're working here, we can like do a progress what they are doing and keep a constant eye in moving back to ask something if we need to talk to the speakers.
Okay.
It's a pretty straightforward process, just 3 or 4 steps needs to be done and just move on.
Okay. So I actually understood the thing. Maybe this month I will join the training session and then the webinar, because Laura has added me as a host. So I'll do that so that I get to know what exactly is done in the training.
It would be amazing. I didn't have the chance because of my work at that time, 2 p.m. Being busy, it's pretty straightforward to me to go there, but it would be amazing if I have a chance to go there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that is okay. So in case I get any other after reading out things, maybe in case I'm confused with something, then I can just contact you.
Definitely, you can get back to me, and also I'm gonna send out my phone number to you. You can send me a message,
Okay.
reach out anytime you need it. Feel free to send me a message. If I didn't reply instantly, I should be in a meeting, but there's no problem.
Okay.
I guess it's that. If I remember something, I can get back to you, but it's pretty straightforward, and that's it from my side. So sorry, I'm tired, I'm hungry. I
Yeah,
just had a lunch at 8:20. Other than that, nothing. I couldn't grab a coffee today. Oh, it's insane. Almost there, Nick. Almost there. I'm gonna be working with you, my friend. Almost there. Giving me time.
All good, man. No worries at all. You did great. Hey, can I quickly take the screen share for a quick minute?
Sure.
There we go. Amrapali, I'm going to share my screen with you for a minute here. So let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
So if you look at the admin folder, in this folder, which you'll have a link to, which you'll have access to soon, what you'll find here is we've documented the entire process, and also really at a pretty gory level of detail. So for example, this PowerPoint, webinar coordination guidelines and process, this one will walk you through, and this one, I saw a slide here that we had prepared a long time ago. Let me just show you this one. Slides. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So on this document, I'll just show you where they are, and you can read it later on. So this process document, for example, as soon as it pops up here, is going to give exactly what needs to be done when. So look at this slide here, for example. The entire process, how do we secure a speaker, schedule it, perform practice session, and perform the webinar. Those are the 4 steps, okay? And then the next slide shows when to execute those steps. So we secure a speaker, for example, 4 months ahead of time, schedule the webinar a month ahead of time, practice session 4 to 2 days before, and perform the webinar. And then when you're performing the webinar, see how we join 90 minutes before, blah, blah, blah. It's to that level of detail.
Yeah, great.
Does that make sense, Amrapali?
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't have asked this much question if it was shared with me. I sent an email also asking for sharing all this, because if I have gone through all this, then it would have been much easier.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
No.
So that's one document. And the other document that I wanted to show you in a moment here quickly is this guy here. So if you look at this, even the emails to speakers, we've pretty much documented it so that it's a template. There's a short mail, there's a long mail, blah, 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 exactly what needs to be done when. It's all documented here. Okay. And then let me just show you one or two more things here. Oops, what the hell did I do? Let's see here, admin. We'll go to folder here. So essentially, this admin folder has everything in it. There's an FAQ, exactly the typical questions that we run into. It's also documented here. And we also have another document that explains exactly when we're executing the webinar, what needs to happen when. So all of the entire process end to end is documented in this folder in these artifacts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. So we'll give you access to this that you can go through it in your leisure time.
Yeah.
No.
So just
Yeah.
one last question. So is it like Abilio is planning to move out, or it's like it's a total handover kind of thing after a few months? I'm just asking for my info.
I don't think that's the plan.
No, we never know. No, it's not the plan. So we can work together through the webinar and blogs. There's no, I'm not moving on. Yes, I don't know. No, there's not the plan. No, I'm still
Okay.
here. Just need to
Yeah, so I'm
dispense.
happy like
Yeah.
we can work together. So
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy.